Hello. Hi, how are you? I hope you're doing well. Long time no see me. Yeah, it's been a minute. Okay, it's been months, not even a minute. It's been a lot of minutes. So, quick update. I guess I'll do a where have I been video. Is that something that people do? I guess so. But really quickly, I just finished my first year of my PhD program at UCLA in Cinema and Media Studies. So that happened. It was a lot. So I tried to keep up with my channel for a while, and it just didn't happen. I started TAing and just with my classes, and I got really busy, and it wasn't really high on my priority list. So I'm sorry. I apologize. I still love YouTube. I still want to do things. I want to make videos. I'm really excited to talk to you today about The Bachelorette. Have you guys been watching? I hope you've been watching. It's been pretty good so far in the 2 episodes that we've seen. I'm really excited. I'm excited about this season. I'm excited to talk about The Bachelorette a little bit more. Also, in this first year of my PhD program, my dissertation topic changed completely from what I originally applied going into the program. I thought it would be one thing, and now it's something completely different. Very quickly, I think I'm going to be looking at representations of dating in the media, including reality television. So that's another reason I'm very excited to be talking to you guys about The Bachelorette. So let's go ahead and just get started with this. We got a lot to cover, because I know I'm 2 weeks late. The first episode was during finals week, so I was finishing up a completely, different paper and a big project all about what I'm going to be talking to you guys about today, which is Edgic. So I'm very excited. We're going to talk about some Bachelor Edgic, and we're going to talk about what we think of the episodes so far, what I think about the episodes, and I'm going to give you my predictions for... I at least have my top 6 locked down pretty well, and I have a prediction for the final rose recipient, which I'm feeling pretty good about right now, but we shall see. Really quickly, disclaimer, so we are going to be talking about who I think is going to be winning this season 17, Katie Thurston's season of The Bachelorette. But this is going to be a spoiler-free zone, okay? I am not spoiled yet. I know the final 4 is out there. People are found out. They know it's been released. I think Reality Steve is the one who released it. But I've stayed away from the spoilers. And all my friends know on our Discord, Bachelor channel, they mark everything as spoiler. They're like, we know you're not spoiling this season, Iftin, which I'm not doing because I'm trying to see if I can determine the winners using some statistical analysis, some media studies analysis instead. So if you're interested in hearing my predictions, talking about how I hope to be figuring this out, then keep on watching because we're getting started right now. And before we go, if you want to see more of these videos, let me know if you like it. And go ahead and subscribe because hopefully I'm going to be doing these, hopefully, it's the summer now. I'm going to be doing these moving forward in the season, so I'm very, very excited. So, okay, let's go ahead and get started. Okay, all right, let's go ahead and get started. I'm very excited. I don't think I've been this excited about a season of The Bachelor or The Bachelorette for quite a while. I'm very excited that Katie is going to be the Bachelorette. I really like Tayshia and Caitlyn as the hosts. They have a really good rapport. This is going to be a lot of fun. This is going to be fun, and it already has been so far. So right now, when I'm filming this, we have seen episodes 1 and episodes 2. So we got through the first night with all of the introductions, and then we also saw the first round of dates, the first 2 group dates, as well as the first one-on-one date of the season. We haven't had the second rose ceremony elimination yet, but that's coming hopefully at the beginning of next week's episode. I hate when they do that. I'm not gonna lie, I hate when they break it up and they don't have a full, rose ceremony in an episode, but I guess they had to play up the drama. And there's been some drama, which also I kind of like. It's not like stupid drama yet. I mean, it is kind of stupid, but you kind of love to hate Carl, like right now. You're like, what are you doing, dude? I don't get you. But I have to say, I think the reactions of the other guys in the house, especially, I love Justin at the first one-on-one date.
Let's finish off with what you don't want. I think we got a good idea.
It's perfect. It's perfect, like, snark comment. That was really great. I really liked I also really liked Trey's comment during the rose ceremony or the cocktail party, and he was just like, what are you doing, dude? This is stupid. Which is true. And so let's go ahead and talk about spoiling, I guess. Spoiling. I say spoiling in kind of the broadest sense. I'm not spoiling this season. I have not spoiled. I don't know who is the final top 4. I don't think the final 3, 2, 1 have been sleuthed out yet, but I do know that the final 4 has been released. I've not seen that. So what we're actually doing is a type of extra textual fan engagement. So that means that, you know, I'm a fan. I guess an ACA fan, an academic / fan. Hopefully you guys are watching this are fans of the show, and we're engaging in all this other stuff that goes on around, because, you know, a lot of people can watch the show and just be like, oh, I love watching this every week and it's so cool. I love it so much that I'm taking it a step further, and I'm trying to figure out who's going to win, who could be, you know, who's going to make it farther, who's going to get one-on-one dates, you know, all that fun, juicy stuff. I like seeing if I can watch the show and kind of figure that out before it happens. I think that's really fun. I think that's really exciting. So what we're actually doing, what the kind of, you know, like I said, spoiling in the loosest terms is 2 different types. So we're going to be doing what's called prediction as well as speculation. So prediction is utilizing the information that is gathered from within the text of the show. So from within the actual episode. That's called prediction. And then the other type is speculation, which is using extra diegetic information. That's going to be like promos and like the previews of what's going to be happening next in future weeks, or in the very first episode, at the beginning and the end of this episode, they had, you know, looking forward to the entire season. So I'm going to be looking at those 2 trailers, previews a lot to try to determine what's going to happen throughout the rest of the season. So that's speculation. So it's prediction and speculation. So we're going to go back to prediction a little bit, and we're going to talk about Edgic. So I talked about this in a video that I did with Peter's season. I guess it was in 2019. That doesn't seem like that long ago, but I guess it was. Time means literally nothing for me anymore. But it was Peter's season. I will link it up in a card up here. I also put a link to it down in the description box. I go into a lot more of like this media theory about why do we spoil, what is the kind of pleasure that's associated with spoiling. So if you like media analysis, go ahead and check that video out. I think now that I'm sitting down to film this video, I'm realizing I'm going to need to do a more in-depth dive into Edgic. So like an Edgic 101 video, so that'll be coming soon. But for this one, we're going to do like a really quick little overview. So what is Edgic? Edgic is a combination of the words editing plus logic. And this is a type of media analysis that was entirely born out of, kind of honed its techniques in the Survivor fandom, specifically the Survivor Sucks blog, are kind of the first group of people who started doing Edgic. So Edgic uses statistical analysis and media analysis to try to predetermine who's going to win the season of Survivor. I started applying this to The Bachelor and The Bachelorette to try to determine who's going to win The Bachelorette. So basically, what you do, real quick overview of Edgic, is there's 3 elements or 3 parts of an Edgic score. We have visibility, we have rating, and we have tone. So you watch the entire episode very closely, you do a close analysis of the episode, you keep track of all of these different elements, and then you give each contestant a score for that episode. And then as you kind of compile these scores through each consecutive episode, then you start looking for patterns, and you kind of try to look for who's going to be positioned in a way that's going to make it most likely that they will win. So let's go ahead and I'll talk really quickly about the 3 different elements. So visibility is super simple. It's just how visible someone is in an episode. Are they seen a lot or are they seen not so much? So it's just a numerical score that's rated 1 through 5. So 1 means least visible. If we're going to look at maybe night 1, some footage to try to determine this, example would be Landon. Yeah, right? Who even is Landon? You know, no one knows.
Cheers to not being that guy.
He was not shown at all in an intro. He didn't really get much of a limo entrance. And then in this still, you can see he's completely obscured from view by Justin. He's in this group. He's the guy in the pink suit, but you don't see him at all. So he'd be a 1 for visibility. On the other hand, you have someone like Connor B. Now, Connor Cat Costume B, he was seen a lot through episode 1. I think episode 1's tricky because there were 30 contestants, as well as like the intro on Katie, intro of Caitlin and Tasha as the hosts. So there was a lot going on in episode 1 just to fit into a 2-hour, or hour and 44 minutes with commercial episode. So no contestant was really seen that much, but in relation to all the other contestants, Connor B was seen the most. So he would be someone with like a score of 5 for episode 1. So then the next 2 elements have to do with kind of character development. So when we have rating is just the personality type of the character. There are 5 rating scores. I go into this again in a lot more detail in my other Edgic video, but we have invisible, under the radar, middle of the road, complex personality, and over the top. So this is how the producers are going to be editing the contestant to build a story, build the character throughout the episode. We'll get into that in a little bit more, but just general overview terms. And then tone. Tone is also pretty simple, but it's basically, is the personality of the character positive or negative? So there are 7? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, no, 6, sorry. So there are 6 tone ratings, which go from super positive all the way to super negative. So super positive, positive. We have neutral. We have mixed. Now, mixed is technically a type of a neutral edit, but neutral just means there's not really sway positive or negative one way or the other. Mixed is technically neutral. However, it's a combination of both positive and negative tones, or positive and negative elements. So for an example from night 1, would be the box, aka James. So it was a gimmick. Obviously, we know there's a lot of producer manipulation in The Bachelor and The Bachelorette. So, I mean, did James really think that it was a great idea to come out in a box? I mean, you got to give the guy props. Like, he committed to the bit, but I'm sure it wasn't his idea. I'm sure the producers said, like, why don't you do this? This would be really cool. So he didn't get a great edit because he's in a box the whole time. You don't really see him at all. The other contestants are heard saying kind of negative things about him, like, why is he in this stupid box? Like, this is dumb.
Box man is not getting no first impression rose. Not before me, I'll tell you that right now.
Catman and Boxman. The Adventures of Catman and Boxman.
So that would be negative tone. But on the other hand, once he finally did come out of the box, Katie, the Bachelorette, was saying actually pretty good things about James.
Finally, I was able to open the gift, and it was a gift. It was James. I think he's super hot.
I have a feeling we're gonna get along just fine.
So, that was some positive. So that sort of but balances out the negative. So when the negative and the positive kind of balance each other out, that's what you call a mixed rating. So that's kind of that one. And then you have 2 negative tone ratings. You have negative and you have super negative. Super negative is pretty rare, as well as super positive. Those aren't seen that much. So what do you do once you have this score? You kind of what I do is I watch the episode really closely. I keep note of all different kinds of things. I keep note of how many times the contestant gets to talk. Do they actually get to talk and share their own thoughts and their feelings about the process, or are they being used more as just like a narrator talking about, what's going on in that particular episode, that particular, date? And you also pay attention really closely to musical cues because they do use music cues a ton on The Bachelor and The Bachelorette. Both negative sound cues like dangerous, fighting, angry, you know, drama, not here for the right reasons. That's going to have some like kind of foreboding music, as opposed to like happy music, as opposed to romantic music, which is always a big, big clue as to whether or not someone's going to be a positive portrayal, if there's romantic music underneath any of their interactions with Katie. An amazing example of this is from the cocktail party on night 2 or the second episode with Michael.
I can see why the other guys were talking so highly about you.
Aw.
Yeah.
That means a lot.
Yeah. Can I kiss you?
Yes.
Okay. Am I blushing?
No, am I?
Yeah.
It's just warm in here, that's all.
Nice.
And you notice that like romantic music starts to swell. So that is a really big indicator that Michael is someone to kind of keep an eye on, that he's going to be edited in a very positive way. So those are things that I kind of look out for as I'm watching the episode. After I watch the episode, I keep track and then I give everyone a score for the episode, an Edgic score. So I'll go ahead and pop up my Edgic chart here. It looks crazy, it looks random, it looks wild, yeah, I know, but that's kind of how they look. I'm just modeling this off of what they were doing in the Survivor fandom, and then from here you start looking for some clues. Even from night 1, you could see who are the people to look out for, and now having episode 2 under our belt as well, you can really tell who to look out for. I'm trying to figure out the best way to do this that's like interesting for a video rather than just me talking. I don't want to talk about everybody, but I'm going to talk about the people who to look out for. So basically from my Edgic score, from the information I compiled from like a really close reading of the 2 episodes, combined with the footage that you see in the trailers, because kind of, I guess the theory, the assumption from watching these shows a lot is the more footage you see of people in the trailers from multiple, super loud motorcycle going by, okay, they're gone, from like multiple different dates, from multiple different cocktail parties, which you can tell, you used to be able to tell from like different locations. Now it's all being filmed in a bubble, so you really have to just look at like Katie's outfit, her earrings, and then the outfits of the men. You can see who's going to stick around longer, because the longer someone is on the show, the more footage there is going to be of them. Therefore, we can assume the more different shots of someone that's going to be seen in the trailer, you can kind of assume that they're going to make it farther on. So just going down through the list, it's pretty easy to tell, and this is how I got my top 6 very quickly and pretty easily, just by going on their Edgic scores. So Aaron, you only ever see him in drama. He was an under the radar and then a middle of the road mixed. He was an under the radar negative in episode 1 because of his weird thing with Cody. We got to find out a little bit more about that in episode 2, but night 1, it was like, the way it was edited was just so random and out of the blue, like, I don't like you, man, leave me alone. And it was like, whoa, that was really strange. It seemed unprovoked. And so that kind of gave Aaron a negative light.
Lighten up, it's a party, dude.
I want to kind of keep my nose out of that. None of the beef, I'm vegetarian.
What is going on?
In the second episode, I said it was more mixed because he was still kind of embroiled in all of this drama. But again, Katie said she trusted him, so kind of, again, balances it out. But he's not going to make it that far. Andrew M? Who's Andrew M? We never saw him. He was invisible both episodes. He's not lasting. Definitely not. He's not going to stick around. Andrew S, on the other hand, oh my gosh. I really like Andrew S. He seems really cool. Very genuine, sweet. Like, I have a super parasocial crush on Andrew S. I think he's awesome.
I truly burn for you. I burn for you, like in the chest right here, you know, kind of like heartburn, but not really heartburn. What I'm trying to say is that I'm on fire, but I'm not on fire. Like, I'm on fire for you, and I hope that you be on fire for me as well.
He's gonna make it far, definitely. For our like top 6, put Andrew S. in that box immediately. He got a complex personality +5, as well as a complex personality +3 in the 2 episodes. He got an intro. He's all over the trailers. Andrew S. is going to make it far. Austin, cut night 1. Brandon, cut night 1. Brendan, he got an intro, but he was still pretty under the radar for both episodes. He's not going to make it that far. Well, he might make it, I think maybe mid-season, but there's nothing, he's not a serious contender. Christian, same, under the radar, invisible, not going to make it that far. Cody, already cut. We're not going to talk about him. Connor B. Now, Connor B. We'll come back to Connor B. He got a complex personality 5 and a complex personality 3, which is technically the same rating scores as Andrew. And when I say Andrew, I'm just talking about Andrew S. because, like I said, Andrew M. is not a contender. I'm sorry. He seems nice. Maybe he'll show up on Paradise, but he's not a contender. So when I say Andrew, I'm talking about Andrew S. Connor B. He is in my top 6, though. Connor C. Invisible. Who is he? I don't think I could pick him out of a lineup. I don't even know, so... Same as with the Andrews. When I say Connor, I mean Connor B, because Connor C is going to be cut very soon. David, he was a middle-of-the-road night 1, so he looked like he could be a contender, but then he was invisible the 2nd episode. He's not going to last that long. Gabriel, already cut. Garrett, who is he? Invisible both episodes, going to be cut. Greg. Oh, there's a lot to say about Greg. We all know he's making it far, so, like, just put him in that pile. We got a lot to talk about Greg. Hunter's an interesting one. He's a middle of the road edit in both episodes 1 and 2, but you kind of notice that he's being used as a narrator. Obviously, the producers like him. They use him as more of someone to just talk about what's going on, an inside observer to just talk about the stuff that happens. But he's never really talked about in like a romantic, emotional way. So he'll stick around for a while, but he's never a real contender. Jeff, cut. He's not going to be around. John, fortunately, he seems nice. He was invisible night 1, under the radar in the 2nd episode. He seems sweet, but he's going to be cut. Josh, invisible. He's not going to stick around. Carl's interesting. He started out as a complex neutral edit the first night, and then turned over the top negative very quickly in episode 2. So Carl's going to stick around just because of drama. It'll be interesting. I think he's probably going to be sent on a 2-on-1. It'll be interesting to see who he's kind of picking a fight with and who that 2-on-1 date might be with. So Carl will stick around, but he is definitely not a contender. He's in way too much drama early on. Now, in Bachelor seasons, people who are embroiled in drama, especially early on, doesn't necessarily mean that they're not going to win. However, in Bachelorette seasons, the people with drama, like, if they're getting negative edits, they're not going to win. So Carl, we can cut. Kyle, invisible, under the radar, cut. Landon, Marcus, Marty, they were all cut night 1, not going to stick around. Michael, we'll come back to Michael, but Michael's a really interesting one. He has a complex personality 4 at night 1, under the radar positive, episode 2. There's a lot to say about Michael. And then Mike, oh my gosh, I felt for him. I mean, we knew it was coming, right? Like, and he knew it was coming, that he was going to talk about, it's this whole virgin storyline. They love to do this, like, every season. They love to have someone who has this whole story to talk about saving themselves for marriage. And, you know, it was really sweet what he ended up doing in the date, but I felt for him so hard. I was like, these producers are really trying him right now. Like, man, like, they don't even let him, like, tell Katie on his own time. Like, he has to be put on the spot in, like, quizzes and on a stage to, like, share this really personal part of himself. Like, wow. I really, really felt for him, but I think he handled it very, very well. I think I'm just going to say really quickly, so from the trailer information, you can see that there's another shot of Michael and Katie. They're both in, like, robes. So before we saw episode 2, you weren't sure if this was, like, are they going to have an overnight? Are they on a one-on-one date? But now that we've seen episode 2, we know that there's footage of him in the blue shirt with the silver necklace with the cross, the crucifix. That is from the first date. That's him talking about sharing this, his waiting for marriage, is from the first date. But this footage of him in a robe with Katie, that has to come later because that didn't happen in that first date. So I'm assuming that he's going to get a one-on-one date with Katie at some point. He's going to stay for a while. It really was touching the way he read this letter to his future wife with Katie. She was really moved by it, which is why he got a complex personality positive rating in that episode. So I think he's going to stick around, but he's not going to make it to the end. He's definitely not going to make it to the end because there's just not enough footage of him throughout the rest of the season for him to make it that far. You know what I'm saying? I think he's going to get one more one-on-one date. They're probably going to do some, like, I don't know, sensual massage date or something, and then he's going to be cut. That's my prediction with Mike. Courtney had potential night 1. He's not going to make it that far. Thomas, looking at the trailer for episode 3, it looks like he's going to get in a lot of hot water. He was a middle of the road positive for both episode 1 and episode 2. But now that we see the trailer for week 3, it looks like Thomas is getting into drama, which means he's not truly going to be a contender. Trey, I really like Trey. He seems really cool. He's not going to make it that far. And then James, the box. He was around a lot in episode 1 just because of the box gimmick. And then in episode 2, he pretty much dropped out of the episode. I think he had 2 confessionals, and that was the extent of, like, James's reactions on the show. So that leaves us basically with 5 guys. I guess we'll get to the 6. That leaves us with 5 guys from the episodes that we've seen who have positive enough ratings, who have been visible enough, and who have been visible in the trailers to make it to the top 6. So we've got Andrew S., Connor B., Greg. Oh, Justin. I skipped over Justin. Justin would be one from, I forgot. I'm not very good at this.
You guys get what I'm saying? No.
Yeah, Justin was around. He was a middle of the positive and an under the radar. So Justin's someone to watch. We will talk about it. Definitely gonna talk about it. Anyways, if it weren't for the fact that in the trailers, the previews, you see Justin quite regularly, he might be someone from his scores to easily overlook. But we will talk about Justin. So basically we have Andrew S., Connor, Greg, Justin, and Michael are the people who are going to be around longer. So that's your top 5. But I said I was going to talk about top 6 because we cannot forget about Blake. He hasn't appeared yet. He hasn't shown up in the season yet. We got to talk about Blake. Okay, I'm back. I had to change the battery, so I hope the camera angle's the same. Maybe it'll look weird. I don't know. I hope the camera angle's okay. I hope the audio is okay. I hope the lighting's okay. I'm trying a new filming setup location, so we're just going with it. So I don't really know how to do this, and I don't know how to do it quickly because I realize that I'm waxing poetic and I'm going on way too long and whatever. So I think I'm going to break this down into videos about talking about the guys, the top 6. Andrew S., Connor B., Greg, Michael, Justin. Why do I always forget Justin and Blake? That's my top 6. If you want to hear who I'm thinking for my top pick, check out the next video. I'm sorry. Maybe I won't break it. I don't know what to do. I don't know how to do this. So, stay tuned for that. Oh my gosh. Is it supposed to rain? There's like a lot of wind right now. Okay. We're going to talk about my top 6 guys.